There are around 400 different abilities such as different gadgets, star powers, and gears in Brawl Stars. Some of them are more popular than the others, while some are completely ignored. Today we'll be looking at the 40 most forgotten abilities in Brawl Stars. Let's start with gadgets. First up, we have Poco's Protective Tunes gadget. This gadget is actually really useful. For example, when a dynamite stuns all of your teammates, this gadget can come in clutch, but people rarely use this gadget, since Poco's other gadget is way better. Dynamite's Fidget Spinner gadget is really useful, especially because it barely hits your enemies. His stun gadget is miles ahead. The only time Jackie's Rebuild gadget can be useful is when trolling someone. Other than that, there is almost no practical need for this garbage. Bo's Super Totem used to be good when it didn't lose its health over time, but right now it's utter trash. I've been playing Brawl Stars for 4 years now, and I've never seen anyone use BB's Extra Sticky gadget. It's not completely useless, but neither is it too useful. All Griff's Coin Shower gadget does is adding 3 more coins to his attack. It doesn't add much value, and thus it's one of the least used gadgets. Belle's Reverse Polarity gadget lets her attack bounce off the walls, which is pretty cool, but there's very little practical need for this gadget. Ash's Rotten Banana is already popular as a useless gadget. I don't think I need to explain this one. Lola's Freeze Frame gadget is actually pretty good, because you can use it to get closer or further away from your foe, but her other gadget is way more fun. Have you ever heard of Maisie's Finish Them gadget? Me neither. Pearl's Made with Love is absolute trash. It only heals 25% of Pearl's damage, which basically makes no difference, and her other gadget is way better. I used to think Jean's Vengeful Spirit was a bad gadget, and I was absolutely right. It deals only 1440 damage to all brawlers in a range, which might be useful in some cases, but let's be real, no one uses this gadget. If you ever feel useless, remember that Max's Sneaky Sneakers exist. This gadget is utterly useless and pales in comparison to Max's other gadget. Eve's Motherly Love may look like a useful gadget, but it actually isn't. Let's say your friends are low on health and they need some heal instantly. By the time your hatchlings will spawn and go to heal them, they will already be dead. Willow's Spellbound gadget lets her deal all the damage at once instead of dealing it over time. This may actually come handy in intense situations, but I've never seen anyone use this gadget in my entire life, because Presto only increases his attack range by 34%. Literally, how the fuck did they even think someone will use this garbage? Sandy's Sleep Simulator used to be one of the most popular gadgets in the game, but people nowadays barely use it. I honestly don't know why. I personally think it's a really cool gadget. Amber's Dancing Flames puts a ring of fire around her, which does 1700 damage on impact, which is pretty good, but it's really hard to actually hit your enemies with this. Meg's Toolbox increases her and her teammates' reloading speed by 35%, which isn't really that much. Also, the range of her toolbox is so small that even Meg barely fits in. Here's a fun fact. Kid is a support brawler. He has a gadget which heals him and his teammates by 30% when he jumps on them. But since there are barely any kids who play 3v3 and even fewer kids who actually cooperate with their teammates, this gadget is pretty rare to be seen. Gale Spring Ejector used to be one of the most iconic gadgets of all time, but then they nerfed it. Even the idea of being able to create a jump pad anywhere and fly through the map was enough to give me wet dreams. But ever since they nerfed it and introduced Gale's Tornado gadget, this gadget lost its popularity. Now that we've roasted enough gadgets, let's move on to star powers. But before that, subscribe. We're trying to reach 50,000 subscribers in 2024, and we desperately need your help. Brock's More Rockets star power increases the number of rockets in his super by 44%. It's a decent star power, but the other one, which gives Brock 4 ammos, is way more popular. Chances are you've never heard of Jackie's Hardy Hard hat. It's her second star power, and yes, it exists, but I've never seen anyone use this star power in my entire life. Gus's second star power, Spirit Animal, is barely ever used in the game. It increases the damage of whoever receives Gus's super. It's not that bad, but it's quite boring, and the other star power is a lot better. Pam's Mama Squeeze lets her turret deal 960 damage per second to enemies. It's a really good star power, and it can come in clutch if you use it in the right situation. But this star power gets absolutely shadowed by Pam's other star power, Mama's Hug. Bee's Honeycomb gives her a 30% shield when her attack is supercharged, but most of the people use the other star power, which lets them have the supercharged shot twice, since they all miss their first shot. Lola's Sealed with a Kiss lets her ego heal her and her allies if they're caught in the path. It's mostly not very practical, since most Lola egos die pretty fast and there's little chance you'll actually use it in the game. Maisie's Pinpoint Precision star power increases Maisie's damage at the tip of her attack. This star power is great in theory, but the problem is it's incredibly hard to hit your enemies from the full distance. Like, you'll only hit 1 out of 100 shots. Sprout's Photosynthesis star power makes no sense at all. It gives Sprout a shield only when he's hiding in a bush. Like, why exactly would you need a shield when you're already totally safe in a bush, Buzz's tougher torpedo increases his stun duration by 0.5 seconds, which isn't that much, but it might come in handy sometimes. Ever heard of Fang's Divine Soul star power? Me neither. Doug's fast food star power increases his movement speed after respawning from his super. Seriously, that's all you could think of Supercell? His second star power literally heals him every time he attacks. The difference between these two star powers is crazy. Charlie's slimy star power leaves a slimy trail behind her super, almost like BB's extra sticky gadget, and it's completely useless too. Like, why would you need to slow your enemies down once you've already trapped them in your super? Surge's Serve Ice Cold star power lets him keep stage 2 even after dying, and since his other star power is way more important, it's one of the rarely used star powers in the game. Chester's Sneak Peek star power practically offers you nothing except letting you know which super you'll be getting next. It's probably the most useless star power, especially compared to his other star power, which increases his damage by 150%. Thanks a lot for watching, subscribe, and YouTube thinks you should watch this video, so try it out.